I handle over $10,000 in cash every single day, but I don't get to keep it all. I work at Arvest Bank as a teller, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about just what it really means to be a teller and how exactly your money is being handled at the bank. I think it's really interesting just because a lot of people don't know what really goes into banking, and they just put their money in the bank and use their debit card, and we don't really know everything that goes into it. So there are three basic things to being a good teller. The first is the knowing basic math. Math is really important. The second is knowing how to do each transaction that you do, that a teller does. The third is knowing your customer, knowing names and faces and being able to place those names to the faces. So the most important thing is definitely the math. You have to know how to count money quickly and just correctly, because if you count your money wrong, there's a lot of repercussions for that. You don't have to know how to do algebra or anything like that, but you definitely you need to know how to calculate different things for your customers. If someone comes in wanting to know their balance minus certain transactions, you need to know how to calculate that for them so they have the most accurate balance that you can give them. This is so important just because people count on their banks so much to be correct and to have the correct balance in their account, and it's extremely important. Then the second thing that you need to know is how to do each transaction. There's a lot of different transactions that I do a day. I could be doing deposits, withdrawals, cashier's checks, money orders, just cashing checks, loan, mortgage payments, cash advances, and even change orders if someone from McDonald's comes in needing more change. Each transaction that I do has to be done a certain way, and the procedures have to be followed for that transaction to go through correctly, which it's just important for me to be organized and know how to do each thing. If someone comes in for a deposit and I get the wrong slip, I take a withdrawal slip, and then I withdraw that money and don't notice it, then their account is out that money instead of depositing money, which would be a really bad mistake I don't think I would make, but it could happen if you're not paying attention. So that's just important, just because it could cause people a lot of distress if their money isn't being handled correctly. The final thing, now that we have all the numbers down, would be knowing people. You need to be able to know faces and names. I see a lot of the same customers every day that come in doing the same transactions, maybe for their business, like depositing all their checks at the end of the day. And it's important that I get to know them and know their names, just so they feel more like I care about them and their business that they're doing with Arvest. People always like to be remembered, and another aspect of that is that we're giving the money out to the right person. If someone comes in to cash a check, I don't check their ID at all, and I just hand that money to them, then the person that the check belonged to would be out that money, and I would have no way of tracking them down. So it's extremely important that I know people and that I also check IDs and get to know people that way as well. Long-lasting relationships with your bank is really important, just because of the way we could use that information to help you have a better banking experience, maybe loans, mortgages, anything you need, we would be able to get that for you. So now that you know the requirements of a teller, you might think differently about your experience at the bank. It's really cool to learn about what goes on, really, and I really enjoy my job and just everything that goes along with being a teller. So math and knowing transactions and getting to know people is what I do all day, and it's really fun, and I'm glad you guys kind of know more about being a teller.